the windswept reaches of Braunton, Devon, where the Tor and Torridge rivers converge in a restless dance with the sea, there lingers a tale as old as the dunes themselves, a tale of a spectral figure known by many names: White Hat, Wit Hat, or Jack the Wit Hat, doomed to wander the lonely expanse of North Side or the rugged point of the Crow at Braunton Burrows. This mythical being haunts the twilight, his cries for a passage boat to Appledore echoing over the waves. A great white hat crowns his head, a lantern lashed to its brim, casting a ghostly glow across the sands. Yet all who hear his call know better than to offer him aid, for to do so is to invite ill luck upon oneself, a curse as certain as the tide. The origins of white hats stretch back to the early 1700s, or so the old tales claim, rooted in the life of a miller named Jacob Trencher. Jacob was a man of Braunton, his mill perched on the edge of the marshes where the wind turned the sails with a mournful creak. Known for his uncanny skill with machinery, his millstones grinding finer flour than any other, whispers followed him like shadows. Some said he'd made a pact with the devil, trading his soul for mastery over gears and grain. In those days, the folk of Devon often attributed such talent to infernal agency, believing millers and blacksmiths alike danced too closely with forces beyond the natural world. Jacob laughed off the rumors with a crook of his lip, but his eyes held a glint that made men uneasy, and when he vanished after a storm in 1729, the whispers grew into legend. One version of the tale holds that Jacob, having bartered his soul, met a grim end when the devil came to collect, eternally calling for a boat to ferry him across the estuary to Appledore, a destination he'd never reach, for no passage could bear a damned soul. Another telling places him at the Crow, a jagged rock at the south point of Braunton Burrows, where the rivers Tor and Torridge meet the sea in a restless swirl. Here, too, he cries for passage, his voice carried on the wind like a gull's mournful wail. Both versions agree on one grim truth: to heed his call, to row ashore and offer him a ride, is to court misfortune, sickness, ruin, or worse, has befallen every soul. When a fisherman named Ezekiel Puddicombe, hauling nets near North Side, heard a voice calling from the shore, through the mist he saw a tall figure, his face obscured by shadow, wearing a broad white hat that seemed to gleam unnaturally in the dusk. A lantern swayed from the hat's brim, its light flickering like a will-o'-the-wisp, casting strange reflections on the water. "Boat to Appledore," the figure cried, his voice a hollow rasp that sent a chill through Ezekiel's bones. The fisherman, wise to the old tales, turned his skiff away, muttering prayers as he rowed for safer waters. The next day, his nets came up empty, but he counted himself lucky others had not been so fortunate. In 1793, a young smuggler named Tom, yeo brash and heedless, ignored the warnings. Anchored near the Crow one moonless night, he heard white hats call and, thinking to mock the legend, rowed ashore with a sneer. "Hop in, old ghost," he shouted, grounding his boat on the shingle. The figure approached, lantern swinging, but as Tom stretched out a hand, a sudden gust snuffed the light, and the figure vanished. Tom laughed it off, until his boat sprang a leak on the return trip, nearly drowning him in the Torridge's currents. Within a month, his smuggling ventures failed, and he fled Braunton penniless, swearing White Hat had hexed him. Through the 19th century, sightings of Jack the Wit Hat persisted, each one adding to his mythos. Fishermen glimpsed him on foggy evenings, his lantern a beacon of doom against the grey haze. Children dared one another to linger near the Crow at dusk, scattering at the first echo of his cry. In 1842, a dairymaid named Sarah Cole saw him while gathering samphire near Northside. His white hat stark against the twilight as he paced the shore, lantern swinging like a pendulum. She turned and ran, and though no harm came to her directly, her best cow died the next week, a loss she blamed on the mere sight of him. Some say White Hat's curse reflects the bitterness of Jacob Trencher's bargain, a miller who gained much in life but paid dearly in death, doomed to seek a crossing he'll never find. Others believe he's a guardian of sorts, a warning to those who'd dare meddle with forces beyond their ken. The lantern on his hat, they say, is a mockery of enlightenment, its light revealing nothing but the futility of his quest. Whatever the truth, Braunton folk learned to heed the old wisdom. Let White Hat wander, let him call, but never offer him passage, lest you invite the devil's own luck upon your head. Even today, in Braunton, where the rivers still churn and the dunes of Braunton burrows shift with the wind, the tale of White Hat endures. Fishermen nod knowingly when the subject arises, and elders caution the young to steer clear of Northside or the Crow after dark. On quiet nights, when the sea murmurs secrets to the shore, some swear they hear a faint cry, boat to Appledore, and glimpse of flickering light moving along the sands. A lantern lashed to a great white hat, marking the endless journey of a soul bound by its own infernal pact. And in Braunton, where the line between myth and memory blurs like mist on the water, Jack the White Hat remains, a ghostly reminder of the price of deals made in the dark. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, like, follow, subscribe, and comment below.